So, we come to it at last. The worst movies of 2013, in my opinion. This is always a pain, but hopefully it will help someone avoid at least a couple of these movies. If it does, good. If you've already seen them, too bad. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. If you do agree, let me know in the comments as well. Okay, first some dishonorable mentions. Bad movies that were not quite bad enough to make it to my top 10 worst. First one, Hatchet 3. I love slasher movies. I really liked the first Hatchet in particular, but it's getting old. It is getting seriously tired. Same old thing. It feels like they're not even trying anymore. It's just a man on screen tearing people to pieces. I know that should be great, but it really feels like they don't even care anymore. They've totally lost every ounce of passion for these movies at this point. It's like, yeah, okay, he's just gonna hack up a couple of more people for 90 minutes and you're just gonna sit and watch it. Another one, Texas Chainsaw 3D. I was so let down by this movie. It sort of tries to return to the original movie, tries to return to that original form, but it just messes up the entire thing so badly. Just such a train wreck, and it's like some fanboy is trying to rave about how much he loves the original movie, but he messes up the original movie. He taints that original movie with his own messed up, poor, crappy ass sequel. It's easy to complain about the Platinum Dunes movies, but I honestly think they are a lot better than this one. They at least had that gore and that grime and that dirty sort of feeling, and this one doesn't even have that going for it. The Last Exorcism Part 2. A lot of horror movies here. Not a good year for horror movies. I really enjoyed the first one. The first Last Exorcism, but this one was just so stale. Utterly stale and reprehensible and tired. Just so very disappointing. It has almost nothing to do with the first movie. Very dull and not a scary film at all. Just phoning it in from start to finish. That's all I have to say about this movie. The Bling Ring. I love Sofia Coppola. I think she's a great director. I think she's made some great movies in the past. I've actually seen pretty much every movie she's directed at this point, and this is the first one that I'm really disappointed by. I guess it just comes down to, do we really need this movie? Do we have to follow these characters, these utterly reprehensible characters? Someone pointed out that it's similar to Spring Breakers. They're both these movies about sort of the downfall of this generation, but this one doesn't really seem to have a message at heart. Is there any message she's trying to convey here? Except, these teenagers are vapid, stupid, horrible idiots. That's pretty much the only message I got out of the entire movie. A Good Day to Die Hard. I really enjoyed Live Free or Die Hard. I think that's actually a good, different sort of Die Hard movie, and a good action movie for sure. But this one is just horrible. Absolutely horrible. Again, it feels like they're not even trying. They are not even attempting to make a decent movie here. They're just like, alright, we'll have the most bare bones, straight to DVD, crappy ass action movie, and we'll cast Bruce Willis, and then we'll change the name of the lead, who is this invincible superhero, and we'll call him John McClane, and that'll be the new Die Hard movie. And it'll be set in Russia, and it'll be bleak, and it'll be horrible, and he'll bitch and moan with his young son, and people are just gonna love it. We'll throw on some CGI, and we'll just make it loud, and they'll just be shooting at people, and it's just gonna be a great movie. Shelter, also known as 8 Souls or 9 Souls, however many souls there were in this movie. Total straight to DVD sort of thriller garbage with Julianne Moore. Didn't feel an ounce of terror in this movie. The first 5 or 10 minutes were really interesting, but then it went steeply downhill. Totally belongs in the bargain bin. I wouldn't even pay to see this movie, frankly. Warm Bodies. Heard a lot of great things about this movie actually, and I thought, well, perhaps there is something to this movie. Perhaps it isn't just a zombie Twilight movie. It's still a movie about a girl who falls in love with a zombie. A movie about a girl who falls in love with a rotting corpse. And not in an interesting, funny, sort of necrophilia kind of way. It's actually a serious romantic movie about a zombie. A zombie! Seriously! Two Guns. very, very lackluster action movie with Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg. I thought this was going to be genuinely funny. It looked like it was sort of a clever, really funny action comedy, but it was just completely forgettable. I can't even recall a good moment from this movie, and yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up for me. Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. I actually saw the first Percy Jackson movie in theaters. Yes, in theaters. Again, it's got a lot of CGI, it has a lot of stuff thrown on screen, I suppose, but it just feels like nobody's having any fun at all, and that includes the audience. I was just bored out of my skull watching this movie, trying to sit through it, trying to find positive things to say about it, and I really don't have any positive things to say about this movie. It's hard to come up with anything at all. And my last dishonorable mention is going to be Now You See Me. Another movie that lived up to the trailers. That is to say, it's vapid and hollow and full of CGI, full of complete, utter nonsense. This is not a smart thriller with twists and turns. It was just dumb. And it was kind of like a guy dancing around in his underwear for 2 hours. It was not a clever magic trick. It doesn't have anything intelligent to say. There's nothing good about the movie except for the all-star cast, which is completely wasted in my opinion. Pretty much a laughable movie at times. I was laughing at the movie. It was that cringeworthy, to be honest. And now let's get to the list, starting with number 10. The Last Stand. I'm sorry, Arnold. I really am. I wish I could say Arnold Schwarzenegger had made a good movie, but I started to look up his career. Other than The Expendables 1 and The Expendables 2, Arnold hasn't made a decent or good movie, in my opinion, since 1999 with The End of Days. Yes, I honestly don't think he's made a good movie since 13 years ago. It's that bad. He's made these standard issue direct DVD action movies. They don't have a great sense of humor. They don't have any good real drama. They don't have any meaning. It wasn't even really satisfying as an action movie to me either. There just wasn't anything to it. It really feels, sadly, like Arnold should hang up his jacket at this point. I hate to say that. I love Arnold. He's a great man. In fact, I just read his autobiography this year, and he's a pretty amazing person, that man. But he just hasn't been able to pick out the right scripts. I hope he returns to former glory. I really do. But this is not it for me. This is just a sad old man trying to recapture some former glory, but it just doesn't work. I mean, the only thing about this movie that makes you go see it, frankly, or rent it, is his name on the poster. That's it. This could have easily been another Steven Seagal movie, and you would have never looked twice at this movie. But now it's a Schwarzenegger movie, and then it's kind of like, oh yeah, he's sort of the old broken down sheriff, but it's just horribly depressing to me in some way, I guess. I think Sly Stallone is faring a lot better in his career than Arnold is at this point. I'm sorry to say. Hopefully we'll see both of them come back for The Expendables 3. Just hopefully Arnold will find, Terminator 5 or some kind of project that can really send him off with a bang, because I think his glory days are over, sadly. Number 9, The Host. Alright, Robin, why the hell would you watch this piece of crap movie knowing that it's based on Stephanie Meyer, the brain-dead author of the Twilight Saga? I figured, okay, it's helmed by Saoirse Ronan. She's one of the best up-and-coming actresses I've seen in a long time. Very talented actress. So I just figured, alright, I'll give it a shot. Maybe there's something here. Maybe I'll be surprised. But no. It was just as bad as I imagined, if not worse. It's a horrible wannabe science fiction love triangle. It's just shiny and stupid, and it's just a complete cringe fest with awkward dialogue, no tension. It's just a total excuse for this teenage romance crap, pretty much. Granted, I'm not the target audience, and I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed The Host more than I did. All I can say to that is good for you, I guess. Number 8, Frankensteins Army. I was about halfway through this movie when my Blu-ray player killed itself, and I don't blame it. Frankenstein's Army. The problem with this movie is, look at that poster. It looks like a really, really cool horror movie, right? It looks like, wow, this is this epic Frankenstein meets Hitler experiment kind of movie. It is nothing of the sort. It is a very, very cheap found footage movie. It really looks like someone went out to their backyard with a cheap camera, a bunch of Russian friends who are wandering around, and suddenly some guy in some half-assed monster makeup comes out of the forest, but they're shaking the camera so hard that you can't even make it out. It's that type of found footage movie. Utterly disappointing and a horrible, horrible, cheap, pointless horror movie. Number 7, Stoker. Here's a movie I wanted to enjoy. I desperately wanted to like this movie, but it just absolutely pushed me away with both arms outstretched. This is from a great director, the man behind Oldboy, an utterly fantastic movie, but this one was just so horrible. It's about a young girl and her uncle, I believe. They're these sort of aristocratic, pretentious, non-human, robotic entities. They sit around and suddenly in the middle of a scene, they will just break out into French for no reason. They'll just be running around in circles, fluttering around like art class wannabes, and they get off on violence and they get off on death, and there's this sort of incestuous murder thing going on, and it's just utterly inhuman, this movie. It feels like you're watching a wall and trying to make a connection to it for 2 hours. It just felt pretentious to me. It really, really felt like it was trying to say something great. It was trying to be high art. It was trying to be something beautiful and attractive and amazing, but it just wasn't there for me. I just could not connect with a single character in this movie, and I think you can frankly tell from that poster. Look at the poster there, and you can just kind of see that there's something off about this movie, at least for me. It doesn't feel human. It does not connect with me at all, sadly. Number 6, The Canyons. You've got Paul Schrader, you got Lindsay Lohan, and you got a porn star. Paul Schrader wrote Taxi Driver, for Christ's sakes, and now he's making this pretty much a softcore porno movie that tries to be a thriller, and it stars Lindsay Lohan and a porn star. What the hell went wrong here? What the hell is going on with these people? Lindsay Lohan, even, she used to be sort of the Disney star, the goody two-shoes Disney star, and now she's just gone down the road of crack and bullshit, and I'm so saddened by this movie. It's such a waste of good talent, frankly. It's just horrible. That's just a horrible, horrible, awful, terrible, terrible movie. And nobody should ever watch this movie. Not even on a dare should you watch this movie. It's not good art. It's not a good entertaining movie. It's nothing of the sort. Just avoid this movie at all costs. That's all I have to say. Number 5, White House Down. There were 2 Attack on the White House action movies this year. There's White House Down and there was Olympus Has Fallen. I was pleasantly surprised by Olympus Has Fallen. That was actually a pretty enjoyable hard R sort of invasion movie, and it really had some guts to it. It dared to speak about current events in a very, very interesting way, and I was really surprised by just how gritty it was, really. It sort of sunk its teeth in, and really, it was like, wow, this is some serious crap. They're actually mowing people down on the White House lawn. White House Down, however, is the exact opposite. It is an incredibly stupid movie. I mean, this has to be pretty much an action movie parody. It has to be a parody, because I was laughing out loud, literally laughing out loud at how dumb the movie was, how stupid these characters were, how dumb the dialogue was, how poor the CGI was. Just every cliched thing you could list is just exaggerated in this movie, and it just does not work at all. Channing Tatum needs to just go off and do something else. He needs to just find a day job, literally, because this is not doing it. Number 4, After Earth. Another movie that is utterly, sorely disappointing. Will Smith and M. Night Shyamalan, both very, very talented men in Hollywood. They have made great things in their career, and now they are making this utter garbage, utter catastrophic garbage This movie is just the most emotionless, hollow, CGI, random bullshit kind of movie you can ever experience. And the fact that this movie is pretty much helmed, quote unquote, by Will Smith's son, Jaden Smith, who is so spoiled that he looks like he's having a seizure at all times, is just horrible. Every single action movie cliche you could ever list is in this movie. He's like attacked by bees. He's like, you're just like, when is this shit gonna end? When is this movie gonna end? There is no connection between the characters. There is no drama to be had. It's not a good action movie. I'm not sure if it carries a message somewhere underneath there. Just a complete, utter letdown in every single way. Will Smith needs to stop with the nepotism. He needs to come back down to earth, no pun intended, and he needs to focus on possibly producing himself, directing, or at least starring in a good, solid movie for himself. His career is moving in completely the wrong direction, in my opinion, and I hope he does not continue down the road of making movies with and for his family. This thing could kill your career. Let your son do his own thing. It's better for him, it's better for you, and hopefully M. Night Shyamalan can make a good, solid thriller action movie, drama, something with some meaning, some flair, something interesting to it. Please, please, dear God, don't make more movies like this. Number 3, John dies at the end. This is exactly the type of movie I was expecting it to be. This is a completely random, vapid, this is not even a movie really. It's nonsense bullshit strung together without any real meaning or purpose. There's a scene in this movie when a character is trapped in a cellar with a monster, and to escape he has to run up and open the door. And when he grabs the door handle, it turns into a big penis. That's when I knew exactly what type of movie we have here. Absolutely meaningless, pretentious, wannabe garbage. It's written by someone who thinks he's witty and thinks he's so funny and oh, I'm so clever, I'm putting crap on screen that hasn't been seen before, but it is just, it's utter nonsense. It doesn't have any meaning, it doesn't register, it doesn't have anything interesting to say. It is not entertaining, it's not smart, it's not funny, it's not well photographed, it's not well scored, it doesn't have good acting, it's really just bullshit. It's bullshit with a title that doesn't make sense. A waste of celluloid, a waste of time, a waste of words, a waste of resources, really. That's all I have to say about John dies at the end. Oh, and do you think John really dies at the end? Number 2, Sharknado. I know, why am I dissing Sharknado, right? Sharknado knows exactly what type of movie it is. It's meant to be a bad movie, meant to be kind of a parody of almost a parody of bad movies, I want to say. But it's still a bad movie. You know, even if it's meant to be a bad movie, even if it's, you know, meant to be sort of a tongue-in-cheek bad movie, it's still a bad movie. Even if you're purposely making a movie bad, it's still bad, you know what I mean? It's not like Machete, it's not like Hobo with a Shotgun, it's not one of those movies that just sort of goes over the top into this wonderful, amazing parody of exploitation. It's just a bad movie. The only reason why anyone has been talking about Sharknado at all is the title. The title, the idea is so utterly bizarre and stupid that people can't resist to watch the movie. And I think that's the only reason why anyone has watched it at all, period. We should avoid these sci-fi movies at all cost. They are a waste of life breath, a waste of our time. We don't need more movies like these. We don't need a Sharknado 2. Please make it stop. And number 1, the worst movie I've seen in 2013 is Inappropriate Comedy. I have not seen movie 43, but I hear they're very similar. I hear movie 43 is absolute, utterly horrible crap with some good talent, ironically. Inappropriate Comedy is utter crap with no talent in it. It's that kind of movie. It is the lowest Z-grade crap, direct-to-DVD garbage, horrible bullshit You've got Adrian Brody in this movie. That man has won an Academy Award. And what the hell is he doing in a crappy ass movie like this? Again, Lindsay Lohan, she has totally messed up any semblance or hint of a salvageable career by this point. It is just right down the shitter as far as I'm concerned. And this movie is about, it's really not about anything at all. It's really, you see a tablet with apps, someone clicks on the apps and a sketch will begin. And these sketches range from Blackass, which is a comedy of jackass with black people sitting around reviewing porn movies, utter comedic garbage. This is not funny, it is vile and horrible and a threat to civilized humanity. Imagine the dumbest 9-year-old on the planet. And then imagine he was allowed to write a script. That's pretty much what you have here. It's the cheapest, dumbest, lowest form of comedy, and it's not even executed well. Not in the slightest, not in any kind of degree at all. If you see this movie, throw it in the opposite direction and run for your life. Don't even bother trying to watch this movie. Don't even think about watching this movie. Don't do it. Don't go there. And I'm sure that can be said for movie 43 as well. The only reason I even tried to tolerate this movie was the fact that Adrian Brody, Lindsay Lohan, and Michelle Rodriguez are starring in the movie. I thought, well, alright, maybe there's something here if those three are associated with this movie, but no, it is disgustingly, horribly, awfully f***ing bad. And that, dear friends, is, for me, the worst movie of 2013. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, check out my best of 2013 list and the movies I'm looking forward to next year. It's over. It's finally over. Thank goodness. Did you agree with the list? Did you disagree with the list? Comment below and let me know. Take care, and I'll see you in 2014.